Excellent. Well, good morning. Welcome to the Trading Pub. My name is Cam White, and today we have a great presentation lined up. It's an easy income-based way to trade the S&P 500 with defined risk. In this presentation, you're going to learn how to trade the S&P 500 without getting stopped out and always knowing what your maximum exposure to risk will be. In these volatile times in the market, it's always nice to have a hedge. And we are delighted to have Butch Heading and Tom Holland, better known as Dutch, as our guests today at the Trading Pub. Together, Butch and Dutch have over 40 years of full-time trading experience. In 2012, when Nadex first started to get traction, they opened binaryoptionmania.com, and since then they've had a full-service trading room where they provide daily commentary on the markets with members of their community. I first met Butch at the Traders Expo last fall in Las Vegas, and I was very impressed with both of his presentation style, his methodologies, and his trading platform. And I couldn't wait for the opportunity to bring him on board in the Trading Pub to let you all get exposed to what they do every day. Today, Butch and Dutch are opening up their trading room for everyone who has registered for this event, so you can continue to follow them after this webinar has concluded. Additionally, the Trading Pub was going to be giving away 2 free ebooks on how to trade with Nadex, with the Nadex exchange. And between those 2 books, you're going to be exposed to 22 trading strategies from 9 authors, compliments of the Trading Pub. Well, the day is just getting started. It's 9 o'clock Eastern Time, and I want to make sure that Butch and Dutch have as much time as possible to share with you what they do in advance of the opening bell, and then we're going to be able to see what how they apply their methodology to the live markets. And with that being said, Butch, Dutch, can you log on in? Can we get some sound checking?
Awesome. Well, first of all, Cam, and on behalf of Binary Option Mania and the invite with the Trading Pub, it's a real pleasure to be here with all you fine folks. Folks, we're just going to really jump right into a little bit of what we do before the markets open. But Binary Option Mania for income-based trading, folks, it really comes down to what you do, what you trade, how you trade. You've got to be able to pull income. You've got to be able to pull money out of the market. And that is what Dutch and I do with Binary Option Mania and our group of traders that we have trading with us on a daily basis. So it is very, very important to have a strategy that gets you, one, on the right side of the market, and two, able to manage your trades and capture as much money as you can. Bottom line, folks, that's what this is all about in making money. Obviously, with every presentation that most folks do, there is a disclaimer. There is obvious risk in trading, and binary options is no different. So without me going through and reading every single line there, I'll just kind of leave that up just for a few seconds for you guys to glance at. And I always offer it to anybody who would like to have a copy of it, would love to send it to you. But I'm sure you guys have seen this before.
Is it true, Butch? Can we lose money trading?
Absolutely, absolutely. But we obviously make more than what we lose, or we wouldn't be here. Why am I here? Okay, I'm sure that everybody probably asks themselves that question. Well, why am I here? What am I going to learn? What is it that we possibly can tell you that you don't already know? You guys in this room might already know what a binary option is, but why am I here? We have folks in here that I'm sure are new to trading. Maybe you want more flexibility. You need a new direction. Would like controlled risk. And bottom line, what the heck is a binary option? You know, it is a relatively new product to traders, and I will say, first and foremost, I only wish that these were here when I first got started trading futures. That was a long, long time ago. My first trade was actually taken in 1986, trading a full contract of silver and full contracts of pork bellies. At the time, they were called pork bellies. But binaries are a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful place to start as a new trader. The reason why I say that is because what you know, what you have learned, what you have read, what you have maybe been taught by other educators, or maybe it's just something that you've known, you can apply it to trading binary options. So it's a very important thing to consider. But bottom line, folks, this is the place to be. Best way to trade the markets, I've already mentioned. Easiest way to trade, and at the same time learn. And bottom line, have fun. It's a whole lot of fun to trade. What are the advantages of trading binaries through Nadex? First of all, I want to make it very clear that we are exclusively trading through Nadex. That is really an acronym for the North American Derivative Exchange, Nadex. We are completely 100% tied in with them and their products, and only their products that they trade. I do want to make a comment because there are some other exchanges out there that unfortunately lie outside the parameters of the United States, and they are not sanctioned. They are not looked under a fine microscope, fine tooth comb through the CFTC and the NFA and the Trading Commission. So you really got to be careful. So Nadex is a very, very safe way to trade binaries, and so you can check out their website and go through all of their things that they will have. So you'll be very, very comfortable and rest assured that your money is safe, and their platform is very easy to use, that you'll see later on today in this presentation. But bottom line, what are the advantages? Flexible time frames ranging from 5 minutes to a whole week. Believe it or not, 5 minutes. You can be in a trade for less than 5 minutes, in, out, expires. Okay, it is that quick. Now, I will tell you, in the room, we do not trade a lot of those 5-minute expirations. We typically will focus more on the 20-minute as they set up, based on utilizing the indicator that you'll also see here shortly. Hourly setups, hourly trades that we take that are sometimes scheduled. So there's a lot of flexibility that you have within the time frames that Nadex offers to us as traders as it pertains to binaries. Fixed risk. Can't lose more than the cost of the trade. How cool is that? How many times you put on a futures trade and you're just on the edge of your seat? The market all of a sudden gets fast, goes through your stop, and you're just chasing it, trying to get out. Get me out, get me out, get me out. On binaries, it is a fixed risk, but on the flip side of that coin, it is also a fixed profit. So you already know what you're going to make on a trade, and you already know what your potential risk is on the trade, even before you take it. The ability to close your position before expiration to maximize profits and minimize losses. It is that cool, where you actually have that ability to close out positions before expirations. You can start with a small account and use profits to build account and income from trading. So it's really, really cool that you don't need a $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 account to get started. In fact, we go the opposite. We go the opposite way. We want you to start out with a small account and build from there. And that's what Dutch and I do with our traders, in showing them how they can actually make money in the markets with their trading, build their account up so they can start to increase their size of the lots that they trade on the setups that we call out, the setups that they might take. So it's really cool, because your outlay of investment risk capital does not have to be a lot of money. In fact, once again, we tell you to start small and build from there. I just mentioned scheduled trades because, just being with Dutch and I in a day, you'll find out that we have setups that we actually look for. Obviously, the 20-minute expirations, we have 3 of those every hour up till the close. And then we have actually some other trades that we take that we focus on that are hourly setups that, if they set up, that we'll look at taking. So we do actually have scheduled We have scheduled trades that we take throughout the day, throughout the week, and they are announced in the live trading room and in the mini. And those trades, because they're not time sensitive, you're not in a trade for 5 minutes and then out. I actually do tweet those out and also send out an email alert. So if you're not in the room, you're actually able to put on the trade. Live commentary provides coaching for entry, management, and exit. That just goes without saying. Dutch and I are with our traders from the start of the day all the way till the close, the cash close of the U.S. market. And then we also have some currency trades that takes us into the to the early evening. Typically, we focus on the 7 p.m. expiration on those. So we've got a full day of trading Monday through Friday that we have at our fingertips, and we're able to talk to our traders, talk about the trades, as well as talking about the markets. And here we are. Why Binary Option Mania? We're one of the only moderated rooms that starts at wee hours of the morning, but 8 o'clock a.m. to 4:15 Eastern Time. It is fully staffed throughout the day. If you're new to trading, you have the ability to ask questions, get those answers to those questions in the room, whether it be myself, Dutch, or even one of our traders in the room that have been with us for quite some time. And there's typically no question that goes unanswered. So once again, schedule specific setups for trades on a daily basis. We have several. Binary Option Mania indicator, we're very, very excited. We just unrolled the indicator. I believe it was right before Thanksgiving that we actually put it in the room, so our traders are actually able to use the binary option indicator for short-term momentum trades, but it also, more importantly, keeps you on the right side of the market. This indicator has been in test mode for about 2 years now. So it's been it's been a very, very long process, but we're actually have rolled it out into our trading room. So obviously I've mentioned live commentary. You'll actually hear my voice throughout the day. You'll hear Dutch throughout the day talking about trades, talking about the markets. We will talk about trades from crude oil to the Forex to the indices to all kinds of things. We will also talk about current events and how they are unfolding and making the markets move. So we all obviously want to capture those opportunities as they hit the market and apply them to a binary option trade. So after today's presentation and we get through the opening bell here in just a few minutes, you're actually going to see us hopefully put on some trades, but we'll at least talk about the platform. We'll talk about the things that we do throughout the day, but there is a link right there. In fact, in your invitation that was sent out, we actually have we've invited you folks to come into our trading room for the day. That is the link to get in. The password is trader, and you can also log in through our website. If you are looking to join the room, you might want to jot down that promotional code BOMB30. That's going to get you a $30 discount per month off the regular price of $129. So it gets your price for the room to $99, and that promotion will be good through the end of the day. Here's our contact information, which we'll jump into after the markets open, and then right upon the close of the presentation and our short little visit with you folks today. I'll bring this information back up, so if you guys would like to come into our trading room, which is different from this one, we'd be more than happy to have you for the day and answer any questions that you might have. Okay, folks, what I'm going to do now is actually do some switching of the presentation and jump right into the charts that that we display in the room. So if you'll give me just a second, we'll just get this thing going here. Hang on just a second.
Morning, good morning. This is Dutch. We do use Genesis. I trade Navigator for our charts. That's our charting package, which we've used for many, many years. Like it a lot. Our indicator is programmed to that as well. By the way, our indicator is not for sale. We are not in the indicator selling business. I have no interest in that, ever doing that. Chris, yeah, basically, in the first 30 days, if this isn't for you, then just contact me or Butch or both of us, and we'll issue a refund for that first month. That's not a problem. We're very open about that. Just like anything else, not everything is for everybody. We understand that. One thing about the room, we do have a good time in there. It's the hardest thing sometimes about trading is it can be so solitary. And to have a community of like-minded traders doing basically the same endeavor, looking at markets, trading markets on an ongoing basis is, I think it's quite helpful. Most of the time it's boring, let's face it. I mean, you're waiting for something to happen. Nadex does have a demo account, so yes, you can do that. They will open a demo account for you with no problem. Go to our site and just click the Nadex banner there on our front page, binaryoptionmania.com. Take you right to Nadex, or just Google up Nadex and go right in there and open a demo account. Takes you a few minutes. That's it.
Hey folks, just to make sure that everyone is aware of things, Butch has left the room and he's reloading right now so that he can gain access to his charting software. And on the subject of the Nadex demo platform, it used to be a 2-week demo. I've just heard that Nadex has made it now an unlimited demo. So if you go to tradingpub.com/demo, you will get access to the Nadex demo platform. When you open it up, you'll get, when you register for the Nadex demo, you'll get a demo account with $25,000 in play money, and you can follow Butch and Dutch. You can use any of the strategies that we're going to be provided from the ebooks that we're going to be sending you, and you can kind of get your feet wet with Nadex if you've never traded it before. And once you do, if you like the idea of trading with defined risk, it's an excellent, excellent way to trade.
For our friends above the 49th parallel in Canada, there's been a change, we understand, and now Canadians can no longer trade on Nadex, nor can they trade on Nadex's parent company, IG Index, out of London or England now as well. I don't know what's going on up in Canada, but Canada is just strange when it comes to regulation. I mean, you could trade this in German Federal Republic to Malaysia. So in Australia, New Zealand, no problems. Nadex has a whole list of countries where it's available to trade. But Canada now, as I understand, no binary option trading with Nadex.
Okay, well, while we're waiting for Butch to come back online, does anyone have it? Out of curiosity, does everyone here have familiarity with trading Nadex? Type a yes or no. No, 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 no. Wow. Okay, this is going to be a really, really informative presentation as the markets open. Nadex is not a substitute for traditional trading, whether it's futures or Forex or commodities. But it is an interesting way to trade the markets, especially if you like the idea of having your risk capped. You know, one of the things that's pretty interesting when you take a look at some of the leveraged instruments that are out there, whether it's spot Forex trading or futures trading, is margin requirements can be pretty heavy and trades can run away from you if you're not careful. And oftentimes it can be catastrophic, particularly if there's a heavy market move against you. With Nadex, you always know what your maximum exposure to risk is. So you know in advance when you place a trade that the exactly what you have up at risk. And for my type of trading, for my personality, I love to know what my maximum exposure to risk is. And Butch is coming back into the room. Butch, can you log back on? Can you hear us?
Yeah, thanks. I actually had to reboot my computer, so I had to reboot the charts. Let me get the monitor. Okay, you should start seeing charts here just shortly. There we go.
Okay,
Okay,
looks like, there we go.
see that?
We're all good to go. Thanks, Butch.
You bet. You bet. Okay, first of all, I'll give you just a real quick little mini tour of what you see throughout the day. Um, These are actually, as Dutch mentioned, Genesis charts. These are Trade Navigator. Actually, they do sponsor us with charts, and this is where we do probably 95 to 99.9% of our chart viewing through Genesis. This is actually where we programmed the indicator. So just real quick from left to right is in the upper left hand corner is the E-mini S&P, and that is actually a 10-minute chart. I do have volume histogram down at the bottom just to kind of give us an idea just of what type of volume is coming in every 10 minutes. Right below that is a 20-minute E-mini S&P, and then to the right of that is the NASDAQ, and that's also a 10-minute chart. Right below that is the 20. And then over here on the very far right-hand side, I try to keep these charts up and not interchange them with other markets throughout the day. But this is where if somebody wants to see, say, a natural gas, we got maybe a report coming out on Thursday. Hey, want to see to possibly implement a trade around that report. I'll float a chart over one of these charts here. But I do try to keep the gold chart up because we do have some metals traders in the room. Upper right-hand corner is the crude oil contract. Now, folks, crude oil has been actually moving the markets, and it's been moving in tangent with pretty much step for step with the S&P. So it's a very important interrelated market that you want to be looking at as you're trading the markets because it's really been very, very volatile. And then kind of left center is the Russell, and these are also these are actually 10-minute charts as well. And then directly below this, I actually have a 1 minute E-mini S&P. Kind of gives you a little bit of a kind of what the markets are doing at that very split second time. And then over on the far right-hand corner, we actually have a couple of internals that we use. I use time and sells and then tick. Right now, there's not any candles on tick because the markets have not opened yet. So a little bit about the indicator, and this is what you'll actually see in our trading room throughout the day, and you can actually use this in trading the 20-minute, which is typically what we'll focus on throughout the day. Obviously, it's a very it's very hopefully comfortable to the eye, but what you're actually seeing is the background of these charts. Now, I don't have it turned on every single chart because it's just not a need, because you typically focus on if you're going to focus on a 20-minute trade, you don't need to be looking at an hourly chart or a 120-minute chart or even a 1-minute chart for that matter. So we typically look at a 10-minute chart, and it's very simple. If the background is green, you're looking to buy. If the background is red, you're looking to sell. Now, I don't know if you can see this. And if you can't, let me see if I can help. You see this right here? I'm actually pointing to it. You see that edge one? That is actually a value that you want to look at trading with as it pertains to a strike. Okay, so if you're looking to be a buyer, which right now the markets aren't open, and I will also tell you the first 30 minutes, because of the volatility that comes in, we typically don't pay a lot of attention to the indicator, not until after we get through the top of the hour, which is about 32 minutes from now, because you've got the opening sequence that can get it can really get rocking and rolling. So it's really not something that we utilize the indicator for. But just for explanation purposes, if you were looking to use this, you'd be wanting to look at the buy, and you'd be wanting to use the 1879.25 as an edge of support. So you'd want to be looking at a strike that gets you in to the trade as a buyer, anything below 79.25. We typically like to capture anywhere from $12 upwards to $20, $25. Don't take a lot of trades for 10, for a premium capture 10, not unless there's just a few minutes left. but you definitely want to be looking at this and staying on the right side of the market, and then utilizing the indicator's edge for picking your strikes as it relates to the platform itself. Right now, we actually have what we call, in fact, Dutch, I'll let you explain this. This is actually a trade that we look to take every single day if it sets up. This is what we call the squeeze. Actually, folks, you'll have to, and please don't be intimidated by some of the trades that we take in the room. We actually name them. But this trade right here that we look at is actually called the squeeze. And these lines right here on my 20-minute chart represent the strikes that you'd be looking to put on. So Dutch, I'll let you explain that if you would like. And this is actually a sequence of trades that we look to take every day. So Dutch, go ahead. I'll let you take over for a few.
Certainly. Thanks, Butch. Yes, the morning squeeze. What we're doing here is basically looking for a reversion to the center of the range that is provided for at 8 o'clock. That's 8 o'clock. We use Eastern time, binary time, whenever possible with the times that we're going to quote. So at 8 o'clock, what happens is you have a population of the 8 to 10 a.m. 2-hour binary expiration. Again, 8 to 10. The strikes will come up at about 5 minutes before 8, and then at 8 o'clock or soon thereafter, the strikes will populate with bid and offers. Okay. What we're looking to do here is selling the top two strikes, and buying the bottom two strikes. Okay. It's a four-legged trade. In other words, you're going to have 4 different strikes. You're going to sell the top 2, buy the bottom 2. And what we're looking for as a screen, a minimum would be $40 total premium capture in that trade or higher. Don't do it with less than 40. And also, if it's really, really skewed one way or the other, in other words, if you have $35 or $30 premium capture on the upside by selling the top 2, and only $5 or $10 or $12 on the bottom side by buying the bottom 2, it's best to stay off the trade. We don't take it then. It's in other words, we want it close to even weighting on the sell as well as the buy, the sells as well as the buys. Normally, this is not a managed trade. This is what we call a set and forget. You can manage it. However, you will find that, or we have found, at least I have found in the past, and we've been doing this trade for years now, that managing the trade actually hurts the performance. Because what will happen in the last 15 minutes often is you will have a strike that is overrun, or 2 strikes on one side or the other, either the upside or the downside, in which in case you're going to be taking a loss, you then manage your way out by going flat, those strikes that are underwater, and only to watch it in the last 5 to 7, 8 minutes come right back down into the range, and had you left it alone, those would have settled true. Not always, of course. Nothing is always in trading. There's always the case where it's overrun and it stays overrun, and you're going to take your maximum loss in the trade then, which is total premium capture less $200 less total premium capture. That's your maximum loss in any of these squeeze trades with 4 legs on. I don't know if I've explained it adequately, but there you go.
Oh, thanks, Dutch.
.com,
Actually,
then.
this was actually put on this morning. Now, folks, because of regulations, and I am actually projecting to a public forum right now, it is regulations that does not allow us to show a live platform. This is actually the demo platform. What we take, the trades that we take in our trading room are done on a live platform. But for explanation purposes, there's a lot of folks in the room that actually are currently in this trade. And as Dutch just mentioned, I will do a lot of illustrations on my chart. I'll snap lines. For this particular trade, I'll actually put in a couple lines so you can see that, okay, well, those are the top two strikes that we'll sell, and those are the bottom two strikes that we'll buy. And that's what puts that trade on. So as you can see, we're already in this trade. There was a DAX trade that was taken this morning, and that is on the 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock expirations, and that one finished positive as well, and that is an early morning trade. If you can't see this, folks, you can put this on full screen. If you go up into the toolbar of the room, you actually have 4 arrows pointing to the center. If you click on that, you'll actually be able to see the whole screen. It's a little bit smaller. If you don't feel comfortable in doing that, there's actually a slider bar on the bottom of the room as well as on the right side. So you can scroll and see the strikes that this trade is. There's also another way to take this trade, and it's called the twist. The twist is actually the same type of setup, but you're actually waiting for the market. You're actually waiting for the market to trade down to the strikes to then pull the trigger on a trade versus just taking it right here in the center. Oh, beautiful, Cam. Thank you for saying that. Folks, Cam just mentioned that this is being recorded. We had a lot of requests from when we sent out the invitation on this as to whether or not the presentation was going to be recorded as far as the session, and it is going to be recorded, and it will be recorded in a full screen type environment. Dave, that's a great question. Typically in our trading room, we actually focus on the 20-minute expirations throughout the day. So we have a 20 on the bottom, which mirrors exactly to the start of a 20-minute expiration to the close of a 20-minute expiration. So this 20-minute candle right here will actually expire in about 4 minutes. And then, or no, excuse me, the first set of 20s actually populates at 9:40 and will expire at the top of the hour. So it actually mirrors every single one of these candles throughout the trading day in open outcry during the cash session actually mirror from an open to a close that actually matches up with the Nadex 20-minute binaries, because that is actually what we focus on. Something that I wanted to show you here real quick on the platform, and it doesn't look like, nope, I'm a little bit early. But by hitting that little refresh button, you guys can probably see me circling it. You'll see in about 1 minute, maybe 2, you'll see 20-minute binaries. Okay, that is when you'll be able to hit refresh, and then you'll click on 20-minute, and it'll show your 20-minute. But right now, I'm actually watching and looking at the squeeze that we have on, where we sold the top two, bought the bottom two. Management, you say, well, okay, well, what's the management on this? Actually, folks, on this trade, we've done a lot of testing. All of our setups that we take in the room are actually tested, back tested. We try to break the trade. We try to mess the trade up. We try to do everything there possibly is within our powers to break the box, so to speak. We typically do not put a trade in the room for our longer term setups that they have to have at least a 70% success rate. Folks, we have in the room that we take some trades that are in the mid 90s. So those are typically trades you don't want to miss. But for this particular trade, the management, really, there's not a lot of management that you do. You put it on and you sit there and just watch it. There are some times that you can manage this trade at about 15 minutes to 10 minutes till expiration, which is, once again, top of the hour. We'll talk about the dark periods that these particular contracts have. Probably would be, well, I can tell you right now that the hourly have 2-minute dark periods. So 2 minutes till expiration. Either you're in the trade or you're out of the trade, or you didn't take the trade. But if you're in the trade and you take it through the dark period, you're pretty much married to that position upon expiration. The 20-minute binaries that we trade have a 1-minute expiration, so you're able to actually take that trade all the way up to
1 minute dark.
1 minute dark period. So watch this here as I hit refresh. Okay, see the 20-minute binaries? You click on that, click on indice 500, and now what you have right there is the first set of 20-minute expirations. Okay, there's another setup that I'll walk you through, and this one is rather quick, but you're actually looking to take this trade on this 20. They are 20 minutes, but you can actually use the 8 to 10, which are right here. Note you can have both both drop downs done at once, but actually the 8 to 10 expires the same time as this first set of 20s. So just real quick, and actually we do this in our trading room. Give me just a second. Got to do a little bit of notation here. The open, that is actually that line underneath that blue dash line, which is the daily pivot, by the way. We actually do have pivots on all of these charts. The blue line is the daily pivot. Up above is the R1. Down below is the S1. And then there's also lines down below that show the S2s and R2s, but they are not actually in view today or at this point in time. But this first trade that we look to take is actually a trade that we take on the 20s, and what I have done there is just mark a line in the sand, and you let the first 10 minutes go, and that will give you direction. So if we finish first 10 minutes of this 20-minute candle here, which you'll see up here, if this is green, then that is a bullish move that we will look to fade as we go into the closure of this, which I'll talk out loud on this, and we'll take a real quick little trade here if it sets up. Hey folks, please don't, we're very we're very casual, Dutch and I, in the room, and at any point in time, if you have questions, whether it be on the platform, whether it be maybe something that I have said, please don't hesitate in asking the question, whether it be in here or you join us for the day in our trading room. If you have questions, really that's what this is all about. I've always said with traders, as we do seminars and webinars and we go to the shows, that, we might make this look so easy and you walk away thinking, oh, I can do this. We actually recommend that you don't do this on your own because we will actually cut the learning curve of trading binaries by more than half, okay? By more than half. There are things, little tricks that we'll show you on the platform, how to read the charts, how to read the options that we're actually looking at, whether it be a 20-minute, whether it be an hourly, or maybe a daily setup. But also, Yana, thank you for putting that in there. But Yana just put in as well as Cam, put in our link that gets you not only to our website, but that link that is in announcement will actually get you to the Omnovia page, and the password for today is trader. So you'll be able to pop into the room. I believe you could actually do it right now if you want, but there will be no charts because I'm actually displaying them in here. So in this particular setup, we are actually 3 minutes into this first 20 minutes. You can see that the market is actually wanting to go up just a touch, but really what you're looking at here as it pertains to what we call the squeeze that we just explained is you want this market to actually close somewhere right there in the center. Right there in the center, which will, oops, hit the wrong button. There we go. Which will actually make these 4 positions right here finish in the green. Because that is what we call, that's actually our rendition of a little bit. Actually the commissions on this are they are a 90 cents in, 90 cents out, and it's capped at it's capped at 10 lots. So you could trade 100 lot and not pay any more commissions for somebody that's trading a 10 lot. So yeah, it is capped at $9.
Also, in a losing trade, there is no commission on the way out because there's no offset. So, if you have a trade that's, God forbid, settles false, they're not going to add insult to injury by charging you another 90 cents per contract. John G., check with your trusted tax advisor, but my understanding is it's a single piece of paper, just like futures. Almost everything involved with Nadex is a futures derivative, so therefore futures rules rule.
Position value, that is actually the amount of money I have invested on position value. And that's the number of lots, which right now I'm trading 4 lots per. And if you're trading just a 20, you can bump that up to 10, 15. We actually have some traders in the room that actually trade some very, very large size, and liquidity is typically not an issue, not on these 20s. Nadex has done a very, very good job in getting the market makers in place where they repopulate the bid size and the offer size. You guys hearing me okay? I'm sure you are. Lee, you might want to log out and maybe come back in.
Michael, that trade that's up on the board is on.
Kim, I'm sorry. You got that covered. I do things out of habit. I apologize for that. You got this room under control. I'm sorry. That was just a knee-jerk reaction. I forget where I'm at. I'm in somebody else's house. But no, it's folks. Actually, this is actually pretty cool that Kim and Raleigh and Yana and Trading Pub has invited us. And once again, I can't thank them more enough in having us today. I'd like to do. Hopefully, we can do more of these sessions down the road. But this room that you're in is exactly the same platform that Dutch and I use. Omnovi. It's a great web casting platform. I will tell you, they all have their little idiosyncrasies and issues that they might have, but all in all, they're really, really good platforms. So how you're in this room is exactly, in the see and the feel of the room is exactly what you're going to see in our room. Okay, folks, you can see it's that first move that you want to fade, and you can already see we're already starting to get that first move, which was what? Up? You can already see the indicator is telling you that the market is wanting to go up. The indicator is telling you it's wanting to go up, so you might want to be a little careful in selling. Well, I want to reiterate in saying and making sure that it's very loud and clear that the first 30 minutes from the cash open to the close of the first set of hourlies, as well as that first set of 20s, you really don't want to be paying too much attention. After 9 o'clock, that's a different story. We will typically trade in the direction of the indicator. But right now, the market is giving us a little bit of a reflex move to the upside, and we're already getting a sell-off. I didn't mention that when the background is white, we call that neutral. The market is not knowing which direction it's wanting to go, and typically it's trading sideways or it's coming in at a very choppy manner.
I did want to mention that we also in the room have a whole slew of trades that we look to do. It's not endless yet, but it's getting there. There is one trade that we do that is now what I'm about to mention are all what we call set and forgets. They do not require management. One of which, depending on when the weekends of the year are, when the holidays fall, et cetera, this can trade 19 to 22 times a year. And we trade the U.S. Tech 100, which is the NQ is the underlying for. And it's called a calendar trade. And because there are certain days on the calendar, believe it or not, where the NASDAQ composite has a 70% probability or higher of closing up or down that day. We only touch ones or do ones that are 70% or better. And when we do these trades, we never risk more than $56 in the trade. In other words, if we're buyers, we're looking to buy a strike for $56 or less. Not less than $44 when we're a buyer. It's better to drop down strikes then in that case. But and then you just put them on. Now, if you'd been doing this for 5 years and just doing these trades, just this one setup, and very aggressively, and I don't suggest anybody do this, but very aggressively sizing your trades for one contract for every $350 in account equity, your $500 is now approached in $200,000, believe it or not, just with this one setup in a 5-year period. On Fridays, we look to trade what we call the Wall Street 30 Friday trade, which we put on at 3:15 in the afternoon. It's a 45 to 1 hour trade, and that is also always a buy, and we don't always do it. There is a filter involved. We have traded the oil Friday trade, the first and second Friday of the month, not the third, fourth, and if there's a fifth Friday, we don't trade those Fridays, but the first and second Friday of the month. We, in the past, looked long side to trade this in the last 25 minutes or so before expiration. In the last quite a while now, oil has been a one-sided market, so we have not been trading that setup. We will take setups off the board when market conditions so warrant.
Hey, Dutch, since you have the microphone, David would like an explanation on this trade that we have going on right here. And this is actually the squeeze, if you want to explain that one more time for him, and anybody else that might have a little more question.
Certainly. David, go to your, well, hold on a minute here. Let me go to the, well, I don't have the, hold on. In this situation, what you're doing at 8 o'clock, when the 8 to 10 o'clock US 500, the ES is the basis of the underlying for that. What you're looking to do at 8 o'clock in the morning is to sell the top two strikes on that 8 to 10 and buy the bottom two strikes, as long as the total amount that you're looking to make gross, get the commissions for now, is $40 or more, with one small caveat, and that is the premiums should be fairly well balanced. What you don't want to see is a capture of $60, let's say, where $45 is on the buy side because the market has gone down, and $15 is on the sell side, which are the upper two strikes, okay? That's very unbalanced. I would stay off the trade with that kind of unbalance. It doesn't have to be exactly balanced because that's ridiculous. But, you know, on a $60 capture, you know, even 40-20 is probably going to be okay. Above that, I would leave it alone. But that's basically what that trade is. It's called the squeeze, or the morning squeeze. And what you're looking for the market to do at expiration is to settle between the strikes. In other words, lower than the bottom of the top two that you've sold and higher than the top one of the bottom two you bought. That's what you're looking to happen here. Well, Ty, that would, you know, that's, you got to figure, okay, $400 less your premium capture, okay? Now, if you've got small capital, too small to be doing this and feel comfortable, do yourself a favor then. Don't do both the strikes on the top and the bottom. Just do the top strike and the bottom strike. Sell the top strike and buy the bottom strike. Forget the one that's just above and just below those, okay? But again, I would be looking for a minimum with that. You need a minimum of $30 though, okay? So in that case, you'd be risking 70 gross to make 30 gross. Sounds unbalanced, but believe me, it's not, because this has a win rate in excess of 80%. Well in excess.
You know, something that we ask our folks to do, and it's very, very difficult. Here we go. Folks, whatever terminology that you might have in the back of your trading brain, mind, whatever you want to call it, just kind of put it to the side, because it really doesn't pertain to trading binaries. Simply, folks, binaries are considered a yes or a no trade. It's a yes or no answer. The market, you're looking for the market to trade and close above a certain number, yes, or you're looking for the market to close below a certain number, yes. If it doesn't happen, then no, obviously it didn't. But it's typically yes or no. You're looking at something. You really want to keep this very, very simple. You know, so the the terminology, it will probably suit you better to just say, okay, I'm either looking for the market to hold support here, and if I'm looking for the market to hold support, I actually want to be a buyer. That's what the indicator is going to help you do visually in staying on the right side of the market. After this expires here in about 3 minutes, you're probably going to start to see this. If this red candle maintains its momentum to the downside, you're actually going to see a red strike. And then you're going to see an edge up here that says, okay, right now 80 3/4. If you were looking to sell this, you'd be looking at a strike that's around 80 3/4. So the 80 3/4, there's no bid, so there's no trade. That often happens. Dave, the twist, actually the squeeze is done on the US 500, and that's on the 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock expirations. Those are actually considered hourly options. And you will see those strikes populate 10 minutes before they go live, okay? You can already see how it's see how it's updating? Your first set of 20s is getting ready to expire, and you see that the current market, profit and loss, position value, see you have nothing there because the market on these hourlies just went into its dark period. There's actually nothing that I can do whatsoever with these trades right here. I am actually what we consider being married to the trade. There's nothing that I can do. So now I'm at the mercy for the next minute and a half to 2 minutes, actually 1 minute, 5 seconds, for the market to trade in between the two strikes that were sold and the two strikes that were purchased. Okay? And it's going to trade, it's probably going to close right here in the center, so it worked out perfectly. It was a perfect trade. Actually, a trade that really didn't take a lot of heat.
Rick, just a quick idea here. When it comes to binary trading, I'm a great options trader too. I love to trade regular equity options, ETF options, all of that good stuff. Take all of the terminology in regular equity options and throw it out the window. Don't call it an iron butterfly because actually it's not, okay? It may look like it, but it's not, all right? So, you know, it's a different animal than regular equity options because basically with very little difference, there's no theta in these, okay? There's very little theta, very little time value, okay? There is some, but it's negligible. It's not even worth talking about. How do you determine which strikes to take? Jim, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the squeeze? The strikes would be the top two and the bottom two, okay? Cam, there is no handling the market in the dark period. You're married to the trade. There's no market because basically your market makers, anything that's left up there is retail, okay? And as far as bid and offer size, otherwise the market makers have withdrawn from the market, and because they've got their thing that they got to do behind the scenes, and that's why there is a dark period. I'll tell you, the wild one is the 5-minute binaries because it's got a 30-second dark period. But those we call the widow makers, and they're only on Forex. We've tried to find an edge with those and have not done well with it. Yes, Cynthia, we attempt to put it on immediately as soon as some size appears, which is usually in the first 30 to 40 seconds. It's kind of difficult to get the trades off when the initial size is 4 to 10, but then all of a sudden, it'll populate with the 20 and the 30 sizes, and it's a good to go.
Hey, Dutch, let me take care. Cam, I cannot agree with you more. The 5-minute, folks, and I will say this in the room, publicly, out loud, in front of Nadex, Chip and Dan. Those guys know me very well. I don't recommend new traders trading the 5-minute binaries. Even though they're there, doesn't mean you trade them, okay? I've actually asked for a 20-minute expiration on crude oil, and they are actually considering that. But Dave, to answer your question, when do you place a trade on the 20? Let's talk about this. Okay, see how the 20-minute background has turned green or turned red. Okay, you want to be a seller. Look up here to your edge, 1880. Look at your 1880. There's a 80 3/4. I actually like to be a full point from that 80. So you look at the 81 3/4. See how you have 11. See how you have 11 and 16? Let's just do this one real quick, okay? Boom, filled 17 1/4. Okay, 5 contracts, 81 3/4. Okay, so now I'll move this line to 81 3/4. I want to see in the next, and this is actually a little bit early, in the next 17 minutes for it to close below that line. It goes up and touches that line. This is what you're going to want. This is what you'll see me do. This is how we manage a stop. Okay, see this ticket right here? Right now, I am into this for 1725. Okay, 1725. How? Because Nadex does not have a way of stopping or loading an order that stops you out of a trade. What we will do, see the price right here? Type in 80. Okay, not that I'm going to get out at $80. That would be crazy unless you get stuck. If this market goes up and it touches my strike of 81 3/4, I will place the order. I'll place the order. I don't want to do it now because this is a nice little trade. I'll place the order and I will get filled at the best price. Okay, because I bought it. I'll get filled on the best offer. At the time, you're probably going to be looking at getting flat this trade with a small loss at around a 45 to 55 on the offer, because we actually did sell this. You sell it, you got to buy it back. Okay. Does that make sense? This is our way of what we call floating a ticket. What we call floating a ticket. But this is actually how we use the indicator. All day long, folks, we actually have 18 of these trades, 18 possible or potential trades that we take throughout the day. Not all of them will set up. Okay. And another thing, there's no reason why you can't take early profit. This thing all of a sudden goes no bid, which is very close to doing. You can actually take your profit. Folks, we're going to be wrapping up here shortly in the next few minutes, but I would like to, and once again, thanks to the Trading Pub in having us today, but I would like to extend an open invitation for all of you folks to come into our trading room for the day and watch us trade, trade alongside us. I would actually also encourage, it will take all of probably 5 minutes, go to our website at Binary Option Mania, go to the very bottom, click on Nadex, and open up a demo account. It will take probably less than 5 minutes. You'll not get a phone call. You'll not get any type of browbeating, so to speak. The folks at Nadex are awesome people to work for, and you'll be able to actually you'll actually be able to come into the room and trade alongside us.
And we have a lot of fun in there.
Yeah, let me do this here real quick.
Sorry if we didn't get to answer all the questions. They come up so fast here. And we presuppose maybe some basic knowledge that isn't there as yet, because I did notice when Cam asked originally, there was a lot of people in here who are not familiar with binary options to begin with. So some of this may have been totally Greek to you. Don't let that bother you. The learning curve for this is very short, believe it or not. Come on into the room. Be happy to go over it at length with in detail. Okay, I don't know how else to put it.
Well, that's well put, Dutch, and we need to wrap things up, folks. So I'm just going to, first of all, thank you very much for joining us this morning, Butch and Dutch from BinaryOptionMania.com. I really liked your charting platform, your methodology, the way you take a look at the markets, and the support that you offer your trading community. For those who are with us in the room that are there some people in here that are still confused what Nadex is and would like a quick overview of what that is? I'll be happy to do it. Just type a yes. If we get enough yeses in here, I'll spend about 10 minutes giving people a Greek to me. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. Well, what I'm going to do, Butch and Dutch, thank you so much for being in here. I'm going to jump in and share my screen now, and I'm just going to
Thank you,
give
Cam.
people a quick overview of Nadex and how to trade it. And then I'm going to encourage people that have the time to spend some time with Butch and Dutch today and watch how they follow the markets with the information you've learned about Nadex. All right, I just need to get my stuff going. And Just going to be a second. Okay, and let me know when you see my screen appearing. Everyone see that okay? Excellent. Well, what I'm going to do is get into things very, very quickly and just give you a quick overview of what Nadex is all about. We've covered our trading disclaimer this morning. Trading involves risk and is not suitable for everyone. You can give that a quick look if you wish, but that was pretty much covered with Butch and Dutch this morning. Okay, for everyone that signed up for this, you can go to tradingpub.com/demo, get an unlimited demo account for Nadex. And we're going to email everyone in this presentation links to these 2 free ebooks. Between them, you're going to find 22 strategies on how to trade Nadex from 9 Nadex trading experts. You're going to learn how to trade a number of the instruments that are available on Nadex and at various time frames. A little bit about me. I'm Cam White. I'm the Content Partner Relations Manager for Trading Pub, and I'm responsible for working with authors and contributors like Butch and Dutch for ebooks and other projects like the webinar we're hosting today. I'm Nadex's Trading Pub's in-house Nadex expert. I'm the author of a monthly newsletter that lists, called the Probability Report, that lists Nadex educational events. I write for the Nadex Exchange blog. I put out columns every Monday and Wednesday morning. I also write for Benzinga, Bar Charts, and other financial websites. So here's Nadex in a nutshell. When you trade on the Nadex Exchange, you are making a decision about where the price of a market will travel relative to a fixed strike or entry price within a defined time period of your choosing. I'll let that sink in. In fact, I'll repeat it. When you're trading on Nadex, you're deciding where the price of a market is going to settle relative to a strike price within a defined time period that you get to choose. Nadex is a CFTC regulated exchange. As an exchange, they are facilitating transactions between your opinion about the price of where a market will settle and someone who has an opposing opinion. Nadex doesn't take positions in any trade. And when you trade on Nadex, you aren't buying or selling an asset. Your trades are based upon the price movement of the asset. For example, when you trade the US 500 market, as was demonstrated this morning, all the trades were based on the price movement of the underlying CME E-mini S&P index futures. So, Nadex binary options have been called yes or no trades. Each trade has a maximum value of $100 per contract traded. This means that the absolute amount you can win or lose on any trade is $100. You always know your maximum risk and reward before you place a trade, and you are making a decision about where the price of a market is going to settle relative to a strike price that you've chosen within a defined period of time that you've also chosen. As long as that trade is active within the defined time period, you cannot get stopped out. You can also hold your trade until expiration and collect the maximum reward available, or you can exit early for a partial profit or to minimize loss. So let's take an example of how a binary option might work. Let's suppose it's 12 o'clock noon, the pits for gold close at 1:30, and the current price is 11.15 and climbing. You've got a high probability strategy in your back pocket for trading gold futures, and all of your indicators agree that gold is on an uptrend and will continue to be on an uptrend. You also believe that the price of gold will not fall below 11.15 when the pits close. If you believe all of that, you might be able to find an Nadex strike price around $1,110 at noon with a 1:30 expiration. If you decided to buy gold at 12 noon at 11.10 and the marketplace and the current price was 11.15 and climbing, 70% of the marketplace of buyers and sellers would probably agree that you're correct. And if you did that and you placed a trade, your risk would be $70 per contract. Your risk premium would be $70 per contract to make 30 on a high probability trade. So $70, that's your risk premium. That's what you're going to pay for a lesser return with a much higher probability of success. Now, let's take a look at the other side of the coin. Let's say the gold is at 11.10 and, excuse me, 11.15, and it's rising, but you feel that a reversal is imminent, and when the pits close, it's actually going to close below 11.10. Well, at 12 noon, the market's 11.15 and rising. No one or very few people are going to agree with your proposition. If you sell gold at 11.10 with a 1:30 expiration at noon, maybe only 30% of the marketplace is going to agree with you. And if that happens, your risk per contract will be $30 to make $70 in profit. And notice how every contract is bundled in $100 increments. So I put up a little chart here just to show you how things might play out. And this is one of those wacky 5-minute trades. This one is on the dollar yen. This trade moves very, very quickly. And I already have the first 1 minute of the trade candlestick is up. So I'm going to grab a drawing tool really quickly. So right here, that's the first candle. Now, this candle closed right at a strike price, which was right here. I also have a strike price right here and a strike price right here. So the question is, there's 4 minutes left in this trade. If you think the market's going to settle above this strike price or below this strike price, there's roughly a divided opinion that's equal. About 50% of the people think it might go up, 50% of the people think it might go down. So you're risking 50 to make 50 roughly when the market is at that particular strike price. And that's what's called an ATM, or at the money binary option. There's 4 minutes left in this trade. So right now the marketplace is divided equally about where the market's going to go, and it's 50% risk roughly above, 50% roughly below. Now with binary options, you can trade anywhere you went on the chart as long as there's a market. So right here at this strike price, you could jump up to the strike price above and decide to buy it or sell it. You got 4 minutes left in this trade. So if you're buying from this strike price over here, there's lesser confidence the marketplace is going to make it all the way up. That little marker is too thick for my likes. If you're buying from this strike price right here, up here, there's lesser confidence if the marketplace is sitting right down here. So you're going to risk $30 to make 70 roughly, and if you're selling from this strike price with 4 minutes left to go, the market is confident, has much greater confidence that that's going to happen. You're going to risk 85 to make 15. At the strike price at the bottom here, if you're a buyer down here, you're risking 80 to make 20. If you're a seller down here, you're risking 30 to make 70. So it's all about the opinion of where the marketplace is going to settle between buyers and sellers within a defined time period. In this case, it's 5 minutes, which happens really, really fast. I personally don't recommend it. So right now, you make your decision on whether you're going to buy or sell from a particular strike price, and you place your trade. Now let's see how this particular trade settled. Actually wound up settling. All right. This again was the first candle in the trade. and the marketplace dove. So if you were a seller down here, if you were a seller at the money, if you were a seller up here in the money or down here, anything, if you were a seller anywhere on those strike prices, you were good. If you were a buyer, you would have to manage that trade and get out. So it's, you made a decision about where you thought the price of an asset would settle within a defined time period. In this case, it's right here, 5 minutes, and out. Now your strike prices can be 5 minutes for certain forex pairs. It can be 20 minutes for U.S. equity indices, and there are hourly expirations, daily expirations, and weekly expirations for binary options.
Hey, Cam, do you mind if I say something to that?
Yeah, go ahead. Do you want me to pull that previous slide up?
Yeah, just that previous slide, because I think that is a great,
Sure.
great, I think that's a great example of the advantages that you have in trading binaries versus trading futures. That one chart prior to that that showed your candles. If you were to, let's say,
Was it, do you want the conclusion of the trade or the beginning
it
of the
doesn't matter.
trade?
It doesn't matter if
This
you
is before.
go back to that. Let's say you go back to that engulfing red candle where you, let's say you're a futures trader, okay, and you sold the market. Well, look what the market did. It actually went up, and it probably would have stopped you out. In a binary trade, you can actually stay with that. You're not going to get stopped out. That's why binary trades, people like myself will refer to, well, there's, you don't stop yourself out. I mean, you take yourself out. But in a futures trade, you get into a short position, the market goes down. Okay, hey, I'm feeling good. Then all of a sudden, the market gets a spike, stops you out, and then the market continues down in its original direction that you already picked, and you were right in picking that direction. You're still in that binary trade. In a futures trade, you're probably stopped out. And I think that's a pretty cool example of how the market was in a downtrend, but then all of a sudden it got a little retracement up. Oh man, I got to get out of this. I'm taking way too much heat in a futures trade, but you know what? I've got time on my side on a binary trade. If you're in an hourly or even a daily, and now look at it. I mean, that's a really really good example, and not one that we talk a lot about. That in binaries, man, you have the staying power to stay with a trade that you might feel very very uncomfortable with in the amount of pressure you're taking on a futures trade. I just wanted, because I saw that and I go, wow, what a great example. So I'll give that back to you. Thanks, Cam, for doing that.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so a little bit more about Nadex. It's the North American Derivatives Exchange. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of the IG Group, which is listed on the FTSE 100 index. It's headquartered in Chicago and subject to strict regulatory oversight by the CFTC. When you trade with Nadex, you're not trading through a broker. You have a seat on the exchange. Your orders are placed directly on the Nadex exchange. Your member funds are held in a segregated bank account in the United States, and you have full transparency on every trade. What I mean by that is Nadex doesn't take market positions against its members. It was previously only available to legal residents of the United States, Canada, and Mexico. It's now available in 46 countries, but as Butch and Dutch mentioned earlier, due to some regulatory issues up in Canada, Canada is no longer available for trading on the Nadex exchange. So, summarizing things, when you place a trade on the Nadex exchange, everything starts with your opinion on which way a market's going to head relative to a defined time period and a strike price. There are lots of markets you can choose from. You can choose from popular forex pairs, U.S. and international indices, equity indices, commodities, and then what you do is select the asset that you want to trade. It could be the pound dollar, E-mini S&P 500. It could be crude oil. And then you want to select the strike time, the expiration that you're most comfortable trading in. That could be on a weekly basis. It could be at the end of the day at 4:15 when the S&P 500 closes. It could be on the hour, or it could be 20 minutes for U.S. equity indices or 5 minutes for forex pairs. Determine if you want to buy or sell that particular asset and the number of contracts that you want to trade. Determine the price that you are willing to pay for that contract, and place your order directly on the exchange. Once your order fills, you can let it ride until expiration if it's going entirely your way. You can close the position out early and capture profit or minimize loss. So how much does Nadex cost? Well, first of all, you can open up a permanent demo account for free. Just go to tradingpub.com/demo and you'll get a permanent Nadex demo account. The minimum funding for a live account is $100, which, as I mentioned previously, every Nadex contract is packaged in $100 increments. So with Nadex, your minimum funding would be $100. Your exchange fees are 90 cents per contract per side, and your maximum exchange fees per side are $9, as mentioned earlier. So if you if you successfully traded and closed 10 contracts, your round-trip exchange fees would be $18. If you traded 20, 50, 100 contracts, it would still be $18. So you can gain some economies on your exchange fees. And if a contract expires unsuccessfully out of the money, you're going to be charged the order execution fee of 90 cents per contract to get into the trade, but you're not going to be charged the settlement fee on the back end of the trade. And I'm just not aware of many or any other trading platforms that are that forgiving on a trade that wind up not working out for you. Quick summary. Binary options are based on simple yes or no propositions. You're either right and you win, or you're wrong and you lose what you put up as risk. You have limited trade risk. You always know your risk, your maximum risk and reward before you place a trade. You have multiple markets you can trade, and my recommendation is to choose the market you're most comfortable, market and time frame you're most comfortable in trading. You have spike protection. As Butch mentioned earlier, if the marketplace moves suddenly against you, as happens quite a bit in choppy markets, you're not going to have a stop loss taken out because you can't get stopped out as long as a trade is live. It's a regulated exchange. It's subject to oversight by the CFTC, and your funds are held in a segregated account. Easy to deposit, easy to withdraw. I'm going to go through a couple of other things really quickly. I have a lot of things I do. I'm just going to push down to Nadex resources. Once again, you have tradingpub.com/demo. You can get a demo account or fund an account by going to tradingpub.com/Nadex. Our website is tradingpub.com, and on that website, you will find I just archive a lot of, as I mentioned, I'm a fairly prolific writer. So if you go into free education and scroll down to Nadex, we publish a lot of my blog postings. So you can see some of the strategies, and I have a tendency to basically break down trades, show you what I was looking at, what indicators I was looking at, what the set. I also write for the Nadex exchange. I put out a column every Monday and Wednesday morning, and here's one that I did recently on the pound dollar. So once again, I show you what I was looking for in the trade. I annotate the trade, where the setup was, and how the trade ultimately wound up settling out. With that being said, really quickly, did that give you a better understanding about how the Nadex exchange works and how to trade on Nadex with binary options? Yes, no, helpful, not so helpful, better idea? Michael says yes. For everyone else that was new, did this give you provide a little bit more clarity about Nadex? Okay, well, folks, listen, we're about an hour and a half into this presentation. I really want to thank Butch and Dutch for being here in the room. As mentioned previously, the room is open all day long for people that want to follow them. They've provided a nice, generous offer. Hopefully, this presentation gave you a new way to look at how to trade the S&P 500 and other equity indices with defined risk. And if there are any final questions, I'll take them. I've got about a minute left or so. I'll be happy to address them. All right. Well, it doesn't look like I have any questions coming in, at least that I can see. So I want to thank everyone for showing up today. I want to remind you this presentation has been recorded. It will be emailed to you, and you'll also get a free gift from the Trading Pub with links to our 2 ebooks on how to trade Nadex. Tax rates on binary. I'm not an accountant. My best advice for you is to talk to your accountant about that. All right. Well, thank you very much.